Good afternoon, everybody. This is Urhuta Mashiki A Nahaka, the Duke L, and this is the United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors conference call. Don't know how many people attend today, but I will proceed forward as if the whole world is watching. First, I would like to read our pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors. I'll read it first, each line in Nuwaubic, then I will give the English translation. And I got the paper because I've been memorizing a whole bunch of other stuff like AMOM and the Tafelat, and I didn't get around to this yet, so let me proceed. Ama Abgemu Tahuth Safuna Wa Gadush Manuf. As I stand beneath our sacred flag, Anderu Mawuti Yakufin Ama Ashhedu Zi Taur. I vow loyalty, obedience as I watch it fly. Ila el Ganunat Shil Istam Nauna Dek Nawus Amna. To the law of our constitution that governs our nation. Ila Haza Sabub Am Skenu no Am Seku Rusi Fug Atla. To this cause I hold my head up high. Ma'a Garur Anteru Liya Hadun Wa Tahum. With pride I pledge to protect and defend. Kul Ma'afi Haza Atzum Am Kalu Usra Wa Sadug. All within this great nation, both family and friend. Liya Yanakud Dek Kul Etnin Mu Adul Hum Hagoyat. To ensure that all has their equal rights. Ila Haza Sabu Ane Sofa Argedu Tat Jed Hayuhi. To this cause I will lay down my very life. Ama Abgemu Tahuth Haza Safun Wa Gadush Danun. As I stand beneath the sacred and holy seal, Anderu Mawuti Mahluset Tamuet Ma'a Gherza. I vow loyalty, sincerity, integrity with zeal. All right, so that's our that's the Constitution there. I will be reading that every conference call that we have. However, the topic of today that I wanted to go over was in the Constitution, the United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors Constitution. I believe it's Statute 10. Hold on, I see Brother Tyrion trying to get in. Hold on. Hey, Brother Tyrion, can you hear me? Okay. Probably have some mic issues, but let me carry on here. We have a great constitution for our nation. Okay, here it is. Statute 7. And it's titled Unity. So let me read this. We the people must become one in mind, body, soul, wants, pursuits, and learn to live together as a family, meaning we have to drop our personal worldly pursuits and learn to live for, of, and by each other. For our future assurance, we must work together, cooperate, and facilitate the assets, qualifications, skills, and artistic abilities of those in our own nation to create stable, sound, productive, and progressive communities of unity. So if we're going to do anything as a people, the master teacher, always said to come together as a people. Said that was our biggest fault, was coming together as a people to accomplish anything, especially to come together as a nation. So that seems to be the biggest hindrance we have, and we got to get over that you know, as a as people, we have to get over that, because that's the greatest tool that the devil uses against us, right? Is for the fact that, you know, so-called black people are unable to they're unable to organize for whatever reason. I have no idea, but I just know for a fact that they weren't unable to organize ever since. I mean, Marcus Garvey had his movement right at the turn of the 20th century. Noble Drew Ali had his movement, you know, as Moors. And actually, Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey actually knew each other, but Garvey and the Garveyites really didn't subscribe to Islam. They were Christians. So, you know, it is what it is there. I think, well, I know that Noble Drew Ali had the better ideology as far as nationality. You know, Marcus Garvey wanted to return back to Africa, and I don't even think Marcus Garvey ever even went to Africa. Didn't speak any African dialects. At least Noble Drew Ali did go to Africa, Nubia, as we like to call it, and came back with some of the lessons and his own version of Islam, in which the Moorish Science Temple of America and American Moors call Islamism. You know, so that's that. And back to unity. There was supposed to be a couple people calling in today about this, about unity, but you know, some people break their word. So, but I'm here. I'm always here. You know, for shows like this, you know, for the nation just to reach out to people. Oh yeah, I could also talk about some updates that we have as a nation. We know for a fact that by this coming March in 2019, we will be printing the Holy Tablets, the third edition that came out. The cover may differ, but that book is still, you know, it's still wanted by the people. So we just want to give that to you from the Holy Tabernacle Ministries. There's a possible procurement of more land in Temple, Georgia, or surrounding areas that that are needed to be annexed to the nation, as far as actually getting the physical bookstore set up. We also want to have as much space as we can for those books. We make sure when we buy, you know, besides the books and the land for the books, the land will also need to include water, electricity to be brought there, which a spot of land that we did see out there in Georgia did have some water, and it also had a couple of houses on it, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we have that. There's a couple other things too that I really can't discuss, but those are things that I can convey to the public or anybody who's listening. That you know, just some of the things that are keeping active. Okay, let me see if. Okay, a couple of people have joined us. I know one. Oh, hold on, let me unmute everybody's mic. Yeah, Tyrion seems like he's having some issues. Hey, who's calling from 803? Area code 803. Can you hear me? Okay, hold on, because I'm seeing. Hold on, you guys don't hang up. I'm seeing. I can hear you guys. Well, I can't exactly hear you guys talking, but I can see your volume going up, so I know that you're saying something. Give me a second. Let me fix this. recording, playback. Let's see. Hey, can you guys hear me now? Okay, I see what the problem is. I don't wanna mess with that. Same as system. That should be all right. Good Lord. Yeah, this thing is complicated, man. All right. So what I think what I could do is I'm gonna have to grab. I thought I had my okay. I'm gonna have to grab my cell phone and try to do it this way. Hold on, give me 1 second. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, can you guys hear me now? Oh no, that's gonna give too much feedback. Okay, hold on. That's too much feedback. All right, I need like an audio engineer in here or something, man. All right, bear with me through these technical difficulties here. I'm gonna try to. Should be playing through. I don't understand why it's not, but. Playback. Hey, can anybody hear me? Wait a minute. Oh, that's the problem. Hey, can anybody hear me? Oh, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm having some problems with the whole YouTube thing, but I could hear you just fine on the phone. Let me hold on. Give me 1 second. Oh man, I can't put on speaker here. Hey, can you hear me? Trying to put this thing on speaker. Hey, brother, can you hear me? Guess not. Okay.
I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that you, Mike? Calling out of Massachusetts? All right. I guess you didn't hear me.
This is Kentrell from Columbia.
Oh, okay. Hey, Control, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Yeah, man, I was we're just going over this conference call, and I don't know if you heard the beginning of it, but the topic is about unity, and and how we can come together as a nation through unity, because it always seems like our people um, have a problem coming together, especially in the spirit of nationhood, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was I just read a statute out of our Constitution, which was statute number 7. Um, but is there anything you want to say about unity and our people coming together, man? I know you're more interested in the metaphysical side of things, like AMOM and AEO, which which is pretty much answered in another venue. But do you have anything to say about unity, the topic of today? Hey, Rahubat, brother. Is that brother Tyrion? All right, I seen you trying to come in and out of the conference call. You probably got some technical difficulties like I do.
Yeah, man. It'll give me a pin, and then when I use it, and it say it was invalid, and I had to keep calling back. Crazy.
Oh, okay. It asks so when you dialed in, it asked you for the access code, right?
It didn't say nothing, so I just entered the access code, and then I put the pin, and then it would say, like invalid, and then it'll tell you to hit a hash if you don't know it. So I hit that, and then I came in, but then it was like I couldn't. I spoke to the brother briefly, and then I couldn't hear you. I said, well, let me just hang up and try to call back.
Right.
And then I called back this time. You was on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when you dial in, it should say, like freeconferencecall.com, and then it should ask you what access code you want, because the access code, gets you to our conference. Then you'll be a listener. But well, I'm glad you got on. I guess nothing's perfect, huh?
Because like the first couple of times, it was just like you call, freeconferencecall.com, then it just went silent. It wouldn't give you any instructions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm still trying to, tweak this thing. But like I was telling Brother Kentrell, the topic of the day is unity. And you know what? I don't know if you caught me reading statute number 7, but I'll go ahead and read it again for y'all, since everybody's having like some kind of technical difficulty, including myself, today. So, Statute 7 of the United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors, Constitution and Declaration of Independence, says that we, the people, must become one in mind, body, soul, wants, pursuits, and learn to live together as a family, meaning we have to drop our personal worldly pursuits and learn to live for, of, and by each other. For our future assurance, we must work together, cooperate, and facilitate the assets, qualifications, skills, and artistic abilities of those in our own nation to create stable, sound, productive, and progressive communications of unity. So it's a very short statute, but it sets the nation on a course of harmony and togetherness, and not this Negro competition and I'm gonna outdo you and everything, even though there's no competition to be had. They'll make one. And other people who want to break that unity. That's why we gotta have the law. What did Moses say? You gotta have the law written in your heart. So I don't know if you guys. I also mentioned that that the nation will be printing the holy tablets in around the March. We're thinking around March we'll be able to procure that. We already got a printer in mind, a publisher in mind, so we should be able to get that done by March, or at least get the ball rolling in March. And then we did discover some land in Temple, Georgia. I think it's about 30 acres that we spotted the other day. So we're going to inquire about that pretty soon, and hopefully we're able to purchase that. And besides that, man, if you guys got any questions you want to ask, I leave the floor open for any questions that that the callers have on the line. All right. Well, looks like we got no questions. So for unity, I mean, we got to come together as a people, like I was saying earlier, and we have to have the law written in our hearts. when we do things as a nation, we got to do it together. We can't have one arm pulling against the other arm. We gotta move as one political governmental body when we start to build on the land, because believe you me, people will test you, and that is Georgia. So they have a long history of doing things to our people, especially us indigenous people. But we've been holding it down out there for the last couple of years. I don't think there's going to be any huge issues as far as the temple rebuilding and where we're going to store the books, like I was mentioning before, and the houses that are on this new land that we may or may not get, but we're definitely going to look at it. Yeah, and that's about it, man. I don't have a long lecture today. I'm not long-winded today, but you guys probably missed it when I was reading the Pledge of Allegiance to the United Nuwaubian Nation Moors flag. That's something that we should try to memorize, just like you memorize the United States Constitution when you pledge allegiance to that. Well, I guess only if you're a citizen, right? Then if you're not a citizen, there'd be no need to even memorize it because you're not a citizen. But if you are, then you should do the best to try to know that by heart. So anything anybody want to bring up? Or you just want to hear me talk all day long?
For another record, Brother Terry.
Okay.
We say unity. I think that really breaks down. The foundation is unity, but I think we could break it down to a common denominator of like love, like the master teacher was saying sometimes, man. And I think they misconstrued him. Some outsiders want to ridicule his work because it was times where he'll say something about the love of Christ. And I think when he say stuff like that, he knew deep down that a lot of us really could only relate to that, to that kind of talk, even though he taught on that on a higher level.
Right.
If you followed the teachings, you knew he wasn't talking about some white guy on this picture.
No, definitely not.
We know that. I mean, if you follow the teachings and you was open to hear what he was saying, and anytime you listen to any of his lectures, you knew that everything he did was cumulative. You know what I mean?
Right.
When he started out with something, and then if you hop in the middle of something and you hear him talking about Jesus, well, you had to be listening to the things that came before that, because he expecting you to understand that we know that the Jesus that they talking about is not the Jesus that he talking about.
Right, yeah.
So when he talking about the love of Christ, I can see that. Even if somebody come in the middle of it, we know that they painted that particular individual to be somebody that turning the other cheek. But for clarity's sake, we don't you ain't gonna get slapped and give somebody the next cheek. But I know what he was saying was that particular love of Jesus that we were brought up on and our grandmothers were talking about, that's the type of love that we gotta have for each other to even have unity.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. No, I agree. That is the type of love that we gotta have. As if we were congregating in a church and we wanted to sing our love for Jesus Christ. Except when we say Jesus Christ, it's something totally different. Like you were saying, like when I see Jesus Christ, I know the master teacher used to say, be honest. When I say Jesus Christ, what do you see? So you see that little blonde hair, blue eyed white
He a
dude
white
in
dude.
the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I used to see that image too, but when you start looking at the tablets, start watching the videos and all that, you start to see the dark skinned Jesus with the afro, because that's what I see right now. I don't see the white dude anymore that that my grandma had hanging up, my grandparents had hanging up in their wall. I see a different Jesus now, which is relatable. It's more relatable to us because we see ourselves in that picture,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also the image that Revelations describes Jesus as written by John, son of Zebedee. So, no, you absolutely right, brother Terry, and I can't deny that one.
And I think, and it is me just trying to carry but sometimes people may run away because personally, what's the name of that group, man? They tear down everybody who's doing something good for us.
The Southern Poverty Law Center.
Them, them.
Yeah, them. Yeah, they
Exactly.
notorious for that.
Them. They 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 will paint the master teacher. They just tell flat out lies, man.
Yep.
And if a person, when you come up through the system the way all of us came up through the same system. And when you go to that and we're programmed to believe everything that they say because we think they're reputable sources, and you tend to believe that.
Right.
However,
I did.
I think the responsibility is upon us to, especially if you want to join the nation and some tugging at your heart about it, you have to address that darkness. Right? What I mean by that darkness, I classify the system that we were brought up in as a type of darkness, and we have to address it personally. Go to them sites and look at what they say, but measure it when you go and listen to his lectures. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because there's something about him that whatever somebody, you automatically know if you're listening to him, unbiasedly listening to him, and you listening to him and you hear his character and you see his work. Don't duck when you see the truth.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Only a fool ducks when the truth is thrown at him. You're right.
And like they say, the stuff they say he done, and they want to call us a cult, and he said this, he said that. But if you actually listen to the lectures that he's done, he addresses everything that these people throwing at him now in modern times. He had already addressed it.
Right.
And you can even go on YouTube and hear, like 2 years after they had captured him, and you can listen at the calls. And just listen to him. At that particular time, on them calls, there's no difference in him from that point backwards. No difference.
Right. Yep.
No difference. I mean, some of the more recent stuff, I don't know, but from at least 2 years after he was captured and back, there's no difference, man. And that's enough to sell anybody with an open heart, sincere heart, on the mission that this man had. And they wanted to make the case about being a cult, or they wanted to make it about something religious. But it's not about anything religious at all.
Right, yeah.
It was about this man pushing forward, trying to establish our sovereignty as Yamasee Native American Moors. And they've been trying to get around that. They just want to make it about everything else.
Right.
But when you deal with law, like brother, you have to address these things the maxims of law. You got to address these things point by point, and this just was a game that they're playing to get off point and put different propaganda, different videos, different avenues of different information to keep us off of the real issue. But if we come together in unity, in that divine love of Jesus Christ, remember it's cumulative, we can get past that propaganda, because they play the same games that they were playing in the time of J. Edgar Hoover, the COINTELPRO programs. All this stuff still in play.
Right, yeah.
But they don't really have to worry about it now, because you got Machine Gun Kelly and different people, Facebook and Instagram and all this stuff.
They use that. They use that to get to you too. You're right. Yep. Yeah, them COINTELPRO agents, anytime they see a Moorish organization getting strong, man, that's their fear. You know what I'm saying? Even J. Edgar Hoover, you know, sending memos internally in the FBI saying, you know, we trying to stop the rise of the Black Messiah. You know, then that ain't no joke. I mean, because we will rise. Now, we ain't trying to.
I think all you guys are guilty. I think all you guys are guilty.
Oh yeah, we all guilty, huh? Just by even mentioning Moors. What y'all talking about? What's this? Yeah, what's this cult y'all talking about?
Man. That guy, it's pictures of him with Fez's on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And they know. I mean,
Oh, did we lose you? I think we lost Brother Tyrion. Hold up. Yeah, I could hear you talking, but I can't hear you through. Hold up.
We know that they know. It's been an ongoing war. Hell, it's been an ongoing war at least since the Crusades, the first Crusade. And before that, with Hannibal. And before that, with what was the brother name? Damn. They named the month of September after him.
Oh, Julius, not Julius.
Severus something.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
His name escaping me. You know who he is. I know you know who he is. It's escaping me at this
Take your time, brother. Take your time, brother.
He might have been the first one to collapse the Roman Empire. Damn, Severus something. And this was after the so-called. This was after the so-called Israelite and Roman war. This is one of the turning points with him that collapsed them. And then during that time, we ended up crossing the Mediterranean. We ended up going into Italy. We ended up going into the Iberian Peninsula. We went into Spain. We went into different places. And all the stuff that our brothers, the Moors, talking about, that stuff is, I mean, that's true when we're talking about history. But I think sometimes we
fall in love with that history though. We romanticize it, yeah.
Right. We romanticize it and we miss what we have to do now.
Now, that's right. The situation a lot different now. So
Speak on it, brother. Speak on it. What do we have to do now?
hey, go back to the topic of the show, unity. We need to come together with love, just like Brother Tyrion was saying. And that's hard to do. That's very hard to do, but we just need to start with a couple good individuals that are willing to set the cornerstone for building the nation. And you know, the chief has done that. Chief White Buffalo has done that, and I want to help him as the VP do that. And we always looking for.
Who is that guy? Chief White who?
Chief White Buffalo.
Who is that guy?
Some nerdy dude in Temple, Georgia. Nah, he a good brother. He a good brother, man. He's one of the best men that I know. Definitely. But what's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
My name is Billy Badass.
Billy Badass. Okay. How you doing today, Billy Badass?
Well, I think I'm rightfully doing wonderful, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm blessed this day by Anu. You know who Anu is?
Who?
Anu, sir. Anu. He's our heavenly Father.
I see. That's all right.
That's all right. Okay. I'm glad you agree, sir. This, we don't want to cause any harm. We want to do our thing in peace.
I'm just listening there, brother.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, Billy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, coming together is a lifelong goal for any Moorish or Black organization to want to come together, and wherever they think they from, if they think they from Africa, it don't matter. Come together anyway, because that's where your strength is at. If you think you indigenous to Turtle Island, Niji, as brother Dane Calloway would say, then come together that way. But the point is to come together, and that's what we're just not good at that. Our people are just not good. We can't even barely get our families together, and that's only like 3 or 4 people.
Now when you say our, I'm sorry to cut you off there, brother. When you say our people, what do you mean by our people?
Good question. I would say so-called Black people, Moors, or anybody who just wants to see the truth. Anybody seeking the truth is really our people. But as far as talking from the perspective of Moors or Black people, the things that we went through, we especially need to come together to heal. There's a healing process.
So this is like a Black Power movement?
No, sir. This is not a Black Power movement. It's just like going to church, and if somebody lost somebody that they really love, they might have lost one of their children, or a husband may have lost their wife, something to that magnitude, and you go to the church to heal. Now this is on a larger scale, of course, but yeah, it's just a healing process, sir.
I've been to church before. I just never heard them say our people. I heard them say church folk.
Church folk.
I never heard them say our people.
Oh, okay.
I was just wondering, if all people is part of our people.
If they choose.
Figure out. Sound like you're singling some folks out there.
I'm just focused on my people, but all people who are sincere and want the truth and are willing to seek the truth, then yeah, that's our people too. Because the master teacher did have people from all walks of life come to Tamaray, each of the West. I guess back in the late 90s, early 2000s, before he was kidnapped. I heard of one brother in New York.
Wow, he was kidnapped. Oh, wow.
Yes, sir. He was kidnapped. He was taken from us, like some of our other great leaders. He was taken from us. So I mean, it is what it is.
One of our great leaders was taken from us too. I remember they assassinated JFK.
JFK, okay.
They took one of our leaders.
Yeah, he was one of our leaders in the United States of America. Yeah, JFK wanted to make some changes that the money changers didn't want, and unfortunately, his life was cut short. I think the whole nation mourned for JFK. So most definitely, sir. That's
I don't think the Nation of Islam mourned for him. In fact, I remember them saying something to the source of chickens coming home to roost or some sorts like that.
That's inaccurate. Malcolm said that. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said nobody should speak against JFK.
Yeah, I think think what you're saying is right there. I just think what Malcolm said was first, and then the honorable that guy. You said that guy said not to say nothing, but the main spokesman for the Nation of Islam, which is I think they call him Brother Malcolm. He made that statement, and then this leader had to clean it up. I don't know how inaccurate it is, but I'm no expert, but you know.
Right.
Yeah, our people. They trying to take our people. I'm with you.
Right. That's almost like a situation about a little more than a decade ago when Louis Farrakhan had to denounce Khalid Muhammad for what he said, I guess at King's College, when he was talking about Jews. Farrakhan said he agreed with him, but not the way that he did it. He said he did it in a vile manner, and so that he had to basically discommunicate, exile him from the Nation of Islam. Which hey, there's some things I agree with Khalid Muhammad, there's some things I don't, but he was just a frustrated brother, with the things that happened to his people. I don't blame him, but maybe could have taken a better route. I don't know, but he did it the way he thought it had to be done, and so he lived and died that way. So peace to Khalid Muhammad. He was a good brother deep down inside.
Those are things that we can learn from.
Right.
We can learn from those things. Like you have guys, prolific men as Khalid Muhammad and Malcolm X, passionate. If they wasn't good brothers, the leaders wouldn't have chose them and let them rise to the pinnacle that they reached. However, we have to keep our passions in due bounds and be unified with what the leader has in mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because even if let's say the leader is wrong. Let's just say the leader is wrong. Okay. If we standing in a single file line and then somebody look out to the left or look out to the right, now we have potential for dissension, and that breaks unity. At least something like that shouldn't be out in the public. That stuff family have to deal with.
Yeah, that's internal. I mean? Yeah.
And even Malcolm say, what's the quote? What's the quote, VP? Malcolm said, obey the law, be respectful. But if a man put his hands on you, you send him to the grave. I agree. I agree
too. You got the right to defend yourself.
I agree.
Well, I don't know if I rightfully agree with that, because if you're gonna obey the law, somebody put their hands on you, you call the law. I don't think a nation of vigilantes and people taking it to their own hand. Now, if your life's in danger, that's one thing. But just putting his hands on you, I don't know.
Well, natural law says your adrenaline start rushing is because somebody put their hands on you. It's fight or flight. At that point, it's on the individual. And that goes back to a lot of the brothers like to say. A lot of the brothers like to talk about sovereignty. Well, if you were born sovereign and somebody put their hands on you, now it's up to that individual to decide whether they're gonna fight or flight.
Or call the police.
It's all on the individual.
Let's put that one in there. Fight, flight, or call the cops.
Yeah, fight, flight, or call the cops. But I mean,
I don't think it's just this is black and white. As somebody put their hands on you, you fight them, or you flight, you run. I just depends on
it's the
what's
extent.
going on in the situation.
Yeah, it's the extent of the violence, really. I mean, because if I just walk up behind you and put my hands on your shoulder, that's one thing.
Should I die? Should I die for saying excuse me and I touched you on your shoulder? Fight or flight?
No, sir. No,
what
sir.
are we
No,
talking
sir.
about here?
No, we're talking. I guess if it's a heated situation, Like I would say, I'll bring up domestic violence. If it's a heated situation where the man or the woman is, is real, there's a lot of tension in the room, and something's gonna jump off. I mean, are you gonna sit there and just and I'll speak from the woman's point of view, even though I'm not a woman. To keep taking the abuse day after day, and then one day this becomes too much, and she kills the husband. Or the first time the husband put their hands on her, should she have just called the cops? Now, I would say she just should have called the cops the first day and not gone through all that psychological trauma. But that's just my opinion.
Well, Malcolm said, obey the law and be kind. But if somebody put their hand on you, send them to the grave. Well, in context, obey the law, be kind. So, if somebody puts their hand on you to say, hey, excuse me, if we're being kind and we're being civil, I'm sure that's what the brother meant. There's no problem with that.
Right.
However, if there's a man that's trying to take your head off, or he's imposing bodily harm on you,
he's threatening you, yeah.
And he's threatening you, then that's a different thing.
I seen something like that. There was this guy. He went to the grocery store, and they parked in the handicap. This white guy gets out and was fussing at them for being in the handicap. And the guy comes out of the store, sees the white guy and his woman's face talking about the handicap. He runs over there and he pushes the white guy. Well, the white guy pulls out a gun and shoots him dead. Black folk got upset. That the white guy killed the black guy for pushing. So I say, all this violent stuff is that's the problem. It's violent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree, sir. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Billy. Violence is the problem. And the law can only go, I'm going to say this. The law can only go so far in the minds of the people. If the society is run off of violence, destruction, drug usage, in movies and books portraying all this negativity, then it's only inevitable that our minds are like computer receivers, just like Pops had talked about. And once we receive these signals, most individuals will act on these signals because that's what they program with. They can't act no other way. So
I'm sorry, sir. Who is Pops? Pops?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that would be Dr. Malachi Z. York, our founder.
Oh, is he like your father?
We look at him as like a spiritual father, like in the church, when they say father, Well, much more than that, but that's the only analogy I can give you, sir.
Okay. You say we. Like all of them? That's how we should look at them?
No, it's up to you. It's an individual's choice. I say we because usually as a governmental body like we are with the United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors, in our Constitution, it doesn't say Pops or our father, but it does say, Dr. Malachi Z. York is the founder, of this nation, just like George Washington and all those guys were the founding fathers of the United States of America. So it's kind of the same thing in that aspect.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
So he's like a founding father. You just call him Pops.
Exactly. Yeah, we just call him Pops. I've heard a couple of brothers from, I guess, in New York call him Baba, but I don't know. I've never called him Baba, but it's the people call him by different names.
Yeah, I think that's from some African language. I think Baba means daddy.
Means daddy. Okay. So you're pretty knowledgeable, sir. You don't sound like you would know something like that.
The Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as he said his name was, he taught them that it was disrespectful to call another man your daddy.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Now why did the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say that?
I don't know. I just know that's what he said. He said, no man to call another man daddy. Except for your daddy.
Oh, okay.
I guess it was kind of self-explanatory, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that was his view on it.
And he was the leader of the entire Nation of Islam.
Yeah, he was.
He told everybody.
That's right. I mean, you could kind of look at him as the father of the Nation of Islam. I mean, even though he said that, people still could look at him. He's the father of that nation.
Well, I don't know, because according to him, Master Prophet Muhammad was his father. And so far as father of the nation, without him, there would be no Nation of Islam.
Well,
but
I think
don't know.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad might have been referencing the book of Matthew. I forget the chapter. But it says something like, call no man father, because there's only one father in heaven. And we know they had a strict discipline. And there's a reason why he says certain stuff like that. You know,
I would agree, sir. But I don't think they use the Bible. I think they use the Quran or something like that.
They use the Bible.
They use the Bible a lot, yeah.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's father was a minister. He came up on him, and he also had the wisdom enough to know that our people was more accustomed to the Bible. He called it, he said the book was tricked, it was poison, but he had the wisdom and the knowledge enough to know to try to bring our people up through that Bible. He knew what to use in different terms to use out of the scriptures to help us.
Okay, because I remember.
Same.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying the same as the master teacher did, the reformer. The master teacher was a reformer. He took all the schools of thoughts and he cleaned them up.
Right.
He took Christianity, he cleaned it up. He took Hebrewism, he cleaned it up. He took Islam, he cleaned it up. So, us being a nation of people, we have fraternities, we have churches, we have mosques, we have temples. But if you're going to do a thing, do it right. He knew these different languages.
Yeah, I believe, great nation, United States of America, I think you're right. We are a nation of people. And I think we should all come together and stay together and do what's right by our fellow man.
Yeah, I think we've tried that. We've been trying, sir, for I don't know how many years, but it doesn't seem like the condition for our people is getting any better. And that's the.
Well, I don't know.
Hence,
I see a lot of people prospering, doing different things of the sort.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
We've come a long way. I think we still trying. Hell, I think everybody right now on this phone still doing it. You know, work a job out here in the United States, go home to your house, somewhere out here in the United States, pay your taxes, somewhere out here in the United States. I think we still trying. I don't think we ever gave up. I think we just got to keep the faith.
Got to keep the faith, huh, sir?
That's what I think.
Well, there'll be.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
Yeah, there'll be some people that'll probably.
I just feel like we can come together, and we are together. That's what that flag represents, that red, white, and blue.
Well, it also represents conquest, destruction, and conquest. Because, you know, who was here before?
In order to advance in civilization, you gotta move forward. Even if you go all the way back to Africa, the kings of the Kush was fighting against the upper groups of the Nile, invading and trying to push out the different people that look like them to grow their nation. I just think it's just part of man. I don't think there's no sunshines and rainbows nowhere, sir.
Well, the United States law would tell you different. the laws that they've written, the black codes. I don't know if you're familiar with that, sir, but there was heavily discriminated against as far as being indigenous or being from Africa or just being, I guess, what they're calling non-white. So, and me, I don't have a problem with it because I grew up around all people in Southern California. Chinese, Vietnamese, Caucasians.
Oh, it's real nice out there. Real nice.
Yeah, it's nice. You should take a trip out there one day, sir. It's pretty nice. But I heard some of the name calling too when I was younger because there wasn't a lot of black kids that went to my school. So I heard the racism from a couple teachers too. And, parents who might have been racist, their kids repeat the same thing that they say in school. So I heard some of that too. And I used to get into fights a lot. So it just depends on what lens you look at this from. But I mean, I am for peace. I think most of us or all of us on this call are for peace. I don't think we want to jeopardize any peace that could be created. But we have to look at it realistically too, and we have to get the opinion of the people, because it's all about the people. If the people agree with you, fine. If the people don't agree with you, fine. That's why it's a democracy. You're supposed to be able to vote people in and out of office who carry the constituency's point of view. So yeah, that's just the way it's supposed to be, but it's not ran that way. And that's how we feel like we just want to pull out of her, like what did the Bible say about Babylon? My people get out of her, that's what we trying to do. Cause we just feel like all the, sir, when you watch a movie, most movies are not peaceful and loving. It's mostly about destruction and killing as many people as you can, like Rambo or RoboCop, or there's certain things like that that some people may not want their children to see, or something like Harry Potter, where they're practicing witchcraft and stuff. A lot of Christians don't want their kids to see that. So, people have different points of view, and they may want to separate and kind of live the life, under their God's terms or under their own people's terms. Which indigenous people have the right to do.
I agree. I mean, well, you look at the Constitution for these United States. It said man have right to freedom of religion. Whether you Christian, whether you Catholic, or whatever you may be, you can do it right here in these United States. And if you look at it, that's exactly what they're doing. Everybody from different walks of life all praise their God. And when they get done, they pay their taxes. I think it's a pretty well-oiled machine. We just have to look at it through through a better lens. Yeah, through a better lens.
Okay.
See it for what it really is. Some people just do what the hell they want to do. And then those are people that get singled out to represent an entire group of people. As you were talking, I looked up this guy named Dr. York.
And okay.
It said he's been convicted of some heinous crimes. And I would think that just because that guy was convicted of something so heinous, that it wouldn't be a reflection of everybody. That's part of your coming together thing. So
yes, yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, it's going to always be some bad folks. We just have to
True.
come together and make laws to get rid of these bad folks, if we can, under due process.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
No, absolutely, sir. I mean, that goes for any group of people, organization. The CEO might have done a scandal like at what was that company in Houston, Texas, Enron. You're not going to look at every employee as if they're as evil and conniving as the money grubbing CEO. Like I did a video I think 2 weeks ago about a disgruntled Nuwaubian, and he was I don't even know. I can't even put a label on this dude. I'll just say what he said. He said that Dr. York built Tamaray by himself. And, you know, no one's going to believe that one man built the city by himself, in the same way that no way one man, the actions of one man should bring down a whole nation of people. It's almost on the same scale. And no, sir, you're absolutely right. I agree with you. There's a lot of people doing doing wrong things, doing negative things, but is that a reflection of everybody in the country or nation or organization? No. But that's the way media is trying to portray some of our organizations, and the United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors.
I get it. It's a tough fight, especially when you have so many people that just want to do wrong.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It becomes very difficult, especially when people bury your name. Like when you run across bad Christians. They call themselves Christians, but they live a very unchristian life. And I don't even think these people are Christians, but they call themselves Christians. Some of them call themselves Christians. They ain't never been to church.
Ooh, yeah, brother. You done said it right there. Ain't never even been to church and call themselves Christians. That's there's some hypocrites out there, sir. Most definitely. But I would say in people's defense, I grew up a Christian, a Baptist, and well, my grandfather at a church in Watts, and we used to go every summer, and most people do not have the knowledge to be good Christians because the reverend doesn't even know what he's talking about. He can't even relate to the Bible, but he wants to convey it onto people sitting in the church pews as if he's some type of master of the scriptures, when he knows deep down in his heart that he's not, and he's also not telling people how to live their life. He's basically listening to a guy named Paul. Now, Paul wrote most of the New Testament that goes directly against the laws that Abraham brought, that Moses brought, and then Jesus tried to fulfill. Like he says, who cares about the Sabbath, right? Paul said, let no man judge you by the Sabbath. But that's not what Jesus said. He said, keep the Sabbath and keep it holy. You know, and that's only one example. He also, this is a funny quote. Well, it's not a funny quote, sir, but Paul also mentioned that he feels imprisoned by the teachings of Jesus Christ. He said he felt imprisoned by it. Now, if Christians, if they're wholeheartedly believing in Jesus Christ, and then you have a man saying that he feels imprisoned by the same Lord Jesus Christ that you've dedicated your whole life to and your reverence to, then what does that say about that man who wrote that, Paul? And you're following what he's saying. So, I mean, could you really even call yourselves Christians truthfully, knowing that?
Well, what I would say is it's kind of what they call a conundrum. On one hand, you're saying it's all about what the people say. Well, the man standing up there at the pulpit, and he got a bunch of people out there listening to him, and people agree with him, then hell, I guess he's more than qualified. And if he was standing up there and nobody wanted to listen to him, then hell, I guess he wouldn't be qualified. So if it's all about what the people want, and the church is full of people who want the pastor to teach on Sunday, then hell, I would say they're doing just fine. I think the problem is we should just leave them the hell alone and do what we gonna do, whatever that may be.
Right. No, I totally
somebody
agree.
might want to listen to us. So I hear what you're saying, but I also hear what you're saying, and it sounded a little conundrum there. One minute is about the people, and then next minute, we're not gonna even pay attention to the people want the pastor. So I don't know. It's kind of, that's why I say I think it's a little conundrum there, but I think I get what you mean. We just have to find what best fits us,
Right. What best fits us as a people.
I think with that conundrum, we have to revert back to natural law itself. I mean, if we're gonna be moral people, I mean, we can deal in government and we can deal with laws. I mean, we know that laws are created by men per se, and they're executed by governments. And then you have a representative of that government.
Right. What, Brother Terry, you still there? All right, hold up. I'm on camera. I'm on camera. Come on. All right, let me get back with you. It'll be over soon. All right, this speaker.
Definition of natural law, would be like unchanging moral principles. So that's when that need to be an executive decision upon the person who's in charge to make sure everything is in order.
I hear what you're saying there, buddy. But you have to take into account natural law says the strong survive. And hell, we all took that approach. I guess we do whatever the hell we want to survive.
No, natural law don't say the strong survive. That's one of those European philosophers that said that. That's not natural.
Yeah, that was Darwin.
Okay. I see. So it must be a miscommunication. So where can I find this natural law you're speaking of? Is it written somewhere, or is this your interpretation of this natural law there, sir?
It's research. We have to deal with
so where can I find this natural law? I got my screen right here. Could I find it somewhere? Can you tell me where I can go to look up natural law?
You can do Google. It'll give you many avenues of natural law.
I want the one you say that's the right one, because the one I said you said was not the right one. So I want to know where can I go to find the right one there, sir?
And then here we have again a conundrum, or we have a double entendre. Natural law itself, when we read it out right, when it says, when it speaks on moral principles, your moral principles may be different. However, that's when we have one that's in front to communicate and to make a judgment upon what's going to be moral for the people. And if that individual is in error, that's when the people step in, because that individual is only in power because of the sovereignty of the people. He only represents the people. So you can do the Google search and you can find it, but it's one of those things that.
I found it right. Now, apparently, you didn't like that one, and you said it was somebody else's law. Somebody else's law there.
It's not that I don't like it. I'm just saying that your quote was from Darwin and not natural law.
It's a theory. That was just a theory.
So who wrote the natural law? That's what I'm trying to get to. I'm with you there, buddy. I just want to go to the right one. You appear to have the right one, and Google is telling me some stuff, and I don't know if it necessarily would come off the way you would like it to come off, because I'm not getting what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but here it's saying it's talking about laws that resort to natural phenomena. What I'm saying is, at one point in time, it was natural to want to move and do this or do that, and sometimes you go natural movement, and next thing you know, somebody else is on that side and don't think what you're doing is natural. They want to know why are you on their side of the river. And they might not observe your moral principles. Hell, they might even look like it.
Well, sir, that's where government comes in.
Right, that's when you gotta sit down with other nations and become friendly, and as friendly as you can, and come to some kind of cordial agreement or alliance, or there's some kind of agreement that you respect each other's sovereignty. you respect each other's way of life, even though they could be totally different, and you don't understand. And that's when, the head of state would, need to take a trip to a foreign nation, become familiar with their customs. And then the other nation could all, they can do vice versa and get to know each other instead of acting out of ignorance and saying, "Oh, that's stupid," or that's ignorant. When you don't even know the people, you don't know their culture. So until you know their culture, you really shouldn't speak about things. But people shouldn't speak about things they don't know out of ignorance, or jealousy or hate. Those things either. But that's when I'm trying to find diplomatic relations. I guess that's what I was looking for. So it's a good question, sir. It was a good question. So it's been going on for almost an hour now. Anybody got any last questions they want to ask before we wrap this conference call up? Nope. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take the reins back. I'm gonna go ahead and close the conference call. This is the United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors conference call number 1 on the books. Today's show was about statute number 7, unity, and how we need to come together as a people. Drop all the competition. Drop all the hatred we have for people who look like us. There's a quote by Tupac that says, "You need to learn to look at me as a brother instead of two distant strangers." So, on that note, I will go ahead and wrap up the conference call, and we're going to try to have the conference call. Well, we are going to have the conference call every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, yeah, that's about it for today, y'all. Thank you for joining the call. I appreciate it. Billy, Tyrion, and Brother Kentrell online. And if you got any questions about the nation, please visit www.unnm.org. And you all have a nice day. Wadu. Meeting's adjourned.
Wadu, thank you.
Okay, Wadu, brothers.
Bye, y'all.
All right, bye, Billy.
Wadu.
Okay, Wadu.